Hello class, this is Alicia Laspick, and this is my Theory to Practice project. My learning began in St. Peter and Paul School. It's a little elementary school. Every class was a combo classroom, and it's a 1st through 8th grade school, so there were only 4 classes in our entire school. I wore uniforms from 3rd through 8th grade. There were computers in every classroom, which was beneficial for learning typing skills or doing presentations, but honestly I felt as though the teachers could have used them more to their benefit with great tech integrated projects. There wasn't a ton of discipline in 5th through 8th grade, which really made it difficult to learn in a combo classroom. And in 7th and 8th grade, there was lots of worksheets given, so directions were read and a worksheet was given. I continued my learning at Grangeville High School. There was lots of lectures in the classes. There was more class options, which I really enjoyed. There was more technology integration in some of those classes. For example, in my early childhood class, we had to research how much it would cost to raise a baby in a poor family, middle class, and rich family. And that really cemented for us how much it costs to raise a child. Also, I got to do teacher assistant and work in a 3rd grade classroom 1 hour every day of my senior year, which I really enjoyed and really cemented for me that I wanted to be a teacher. My learning, I'm very kinesthetic and visual. I like to learn by doing. I'm not very good at listening to someone reading something and retaining. I have to visually see the text. I really have a lack of an inquisitive mind. I don't care so much how things work. I'm just really glad that they do. I wouldn't say I'm artistic, but I'm creative. I made my prom dress when I was in high school. And also going back to the lack of an inquisitive mind, I wasn't so much interested in science, so that's really helped me as a pre-service teacher, knowing that not every student is going to be naturally interested in every subject area. So asking myself, how do I make things relevant? How do I make things interesting and exciting? I loved this quote by Albert Einstein: creativity is intelligence having fun. It's so fun when students get to have the options. Behaviorism and humanism, I like a combination of both. So for humanism, I like rules developed together as a class. It's not a dictatorship, it's a democracy. Students share classroom responsibilities, really having that team environment of working together. I also really like reflection in learning. So for example, when Daisha Lackey, when I observed her classroom, she had the students reflect after they did a math problem. And I thought that was really fantastic to reflect on your learning. How did your learning change through this assignment? For behaviorism, I don't know if they're called this, but I really like behavior cards, or having a behavior system in which it's not as obvious to the other students when they're in trouble. I'm not a fan of calling kids out. I'm really not comfortable with the whole embarrassment factor. And I like rewarding students as a class. So when all of the students do really well with silent reading time and showing stamina, then they all get rewarded as a class with an extrinsic motivator. Maybe they get to select what kind of party they want. Maybe it could be bring your stuffed animal to school day, or a pajama party, or something along those lines. Theorists, I really like Skinner and his idea of positive reinforcement. I also like Vygotsky, the zone of proximal development. So that's kind of the I do, we do, you do model. I think it really sets students up for success. The inner speech, I think it's really important for students to know that that's what good readers do. They really think as they read and ponder and ask themselves important questions. And for psychology of play, so that's the idea that students don't know how something works. They use their imagination as an explanation. I think it is important to address misconceptions in a classroom, but I also think that we really squelch students' imaginations at an early age and really make them become literal people. I really like fostering imagination in a classroom. For real-life connections, I think it's important for every student to know that they have a voice, they're an author, they have something to share with the world. For multiple perspectives, one of my best friends growing up is Mexican, and growing up in a really small community where we didn't have much diversity, that was hard for her. So she really could connect, make that text to self connection with the book Esperanza Rising. And I think it's so important for every student to find that connection. You can make a connection with any book, whether it be a racial connection, a family connection, really anything. So for newspapers, you have to have literacy skills intact in order for something as basic as reading a newspaper, which really helps you know what's going on in the world or your community at large. And also, as small as it may sound, social media, if you don't have literacy skills in place of reading and writing, you can't send text messages to your friends or send a message on Facebook. So really, for expressing yourself, literacy is so vital. My classroom, I really like an open layout so that students can move around and don't feel restricted. And I think it's more calming that way too. I like clustering desks into a U shape so that they're all facing the same direction, but also so that they're clustered, and it really encourages that classroom communication and discussion. I think that students learn just as much from their peers as from the teacher. Over in the top right-hand corner, I also have a great big area with a rug. So for our carpet time, we really can all join together and learn. I also think it's really important to have a really great reading area that's inviting even for those students that don't necessarily have a love of reading acquired yet. I made sure to involve a student table and a kidney table because I really want an opportunity to get to work with students that are struggling and not have an embarrassing thing and just be able to call them to the back table and work with them. ELA and technology. So for Common Core, it really sets it up into writing, reading, and speaking and listening. And all of those things are incorporated into every single subject area. In order for students to be successful, they need that great ELA background because they're going to be reading, writing, speaking, and listening in science, social studies, math, you name it. 21st century learning, in order to prepare our students for jobs that don't even exist yet, they need to not only be literate in every subject area, and that includes technology education. So as we talked about in Nick's class this semester, having that be purposeful learning. So does the technology integration make sense and really enhance learning, or are you just putting it in for the sake of adding technology? Learning, I believe, can happen in a safe and calm environment. Unfortunately, students don't always have that at home, so providing that at school is really vital for them. Students can learn if they feel valued, if they feel that they have a voice in their classroom. Students can learn when they have stimulated interest. No student's going to learn if they are bored to tears. Also, differentiation. So not every student learns in the same manner. So if the learning is differentiated, then everyone can learn and be on the same page. I just wanted to include an inspirational quote. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. This is by William Butler Yeats. I hope that all of my students leave my classroom being inspired and really pursue their dreams and goals, and not just feel like they had information thrown at them that they feel the need to regurgitate. And last, I have my references of my pictures and the information I used on the theorists. That concludes my Theory to Practice project. Thanks so much for listening.